everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you are coming over from Florence's channel, welcome to Too Cool for Middle School. I'm doing this video in collaboration with Florence from Teacher Tales. It doesn't sound right to say it in an American accent, like it needs to be like Teacher Tales. Is that how she says it? Teacher Tales. Teacher Tales. Tales. Teacher Tales. Teacher Tales. I am the worst at accents. Actually, I'm the second worst at accents. My husband is the worst at accents. But I love it. I love Florence's accent. So if you haven't been over to Florence's channel, Teacher Tales, go check out her video. It will be linked below. Go check out some of her videos because she's been talking about how to hand over her classroom to a sub while she's out on maternity leave. Today, both of us are going to be talking about student teaching, and we each have 5 tips for you for your time as a student teacher. I think I did my student teaching in the 2010-2011 school year, so it's been quite a while for me, but there are still some things that I would recommend. So when I did my student teaching, it was at a high school. I taught 10th grade world history and 11th grade US history. I did my time as a student teacher from the first day of school to the last day of school. I observed for a couple of months at the beginning, and then I kind of slowly took over the reins as the teacher, and I just taught first, second, third, and fourth period. So it was just in the mornings, from when school started until lunchtime. I had amazing master teachers. They were both so incredible, and they were in classrooms right next door to each other, and even though they taught different things, they collaborated quite a bit and they were friends, and so I was able to just kind of join their little crew and hear from them about things that they were doing with their students and what was going on in the school and all of that. So I had a really great student teaching experience, even though it was quite long and arduous. My tips will be a little bit more geared toward secondary teachers doing their student teaching in a middle or high school setting, just since that's what I did. But Florence teaches the younger grades, so you'll be able to get both perspectives. So my first tip is to read and study beyond the required content. This just isn't going to be a relaxing time in your life. This is going to be a really intense time in your life, and you're going to be preparing a lot. So you'll be maybe working with your master teacher to sort of plan out the lessons that you're going to be teaching over the next week or two, or if you're lucky, you'll have a nice laid out pacing guide, and you'll have access to the textbooks and everything. But once you see what it is that you'll be teaching, do outside research. Go out on your own and use the skills that you learned in college to do research beyond just the basics that you'll be teaching. I found that really saved me, because I was teaching 10th and 11th graders, and we'd be getting into something about the Teapot Dome scandal or the Korean War or something that I had studied, but it had been a while, and there were a few times I remember that they had questions for me that I couldn't really answer. And so after that happened once or twice, I was like, okay, I cannot be caught off guard anymore. So I was reading a lot of books outside of obviously just their textbook, and watching documentaries and listening to podcasts, and making sure that I was up on my current events and listening to NPR on my drives there and back. So you definitely need to be bringing more to the table than just a kid who has read a chapter ahead. It's hard and it's time consuming, and then the rough thing is that when you get a teaching position, it might not necessarily be that exact content. So for me, I've never actually gone back and taught 10th or 11th grade history since I've been paid to be a teacher. So I haven't really been able to use any of the lessons that I used when I was student teaching, but even just the practice and the process of going through building those lessons and building my content knowledge has been helpful for me in the future. My second tip is to also prepare your lessons plus backups. You need a plan A, plan B, and plan C. One of the hardest things about being a new teacher is just not knowing the timing of how long things are going to take, or how quickly students will get through something, or maybe realizing that oh, I should have allotted way more time for this. And that even happens after you've been teaching for a while, when you try something new. But just be prepared for that, and just know that that's a tricky part about student teaching, and plan on having like extension activities or a backup plan if something does take longer than you were expecting it to. And of course you can ask your master teachers like for their advice about timing and how long they think that things are going to take, but just know that that might be kind of a tricky part about student teaching. One thing that I think would be really helpful, and I wish that I did this now, I just need to put more time into it, and I wish I had done it when I was student teaching, but just to organize all of your like lessons on slides or PowerPoints. There's an Instagrammer, Read Like a Rockstar, who does this for every day, and she teaches like the younger grades, but she's got like each new activity and the instructions and everything on a PowerPoint. And so she just goes through her day and like it's already structured on the PowerPoint so she can see what's left to do, what they've already done, and she's already got instructions there. And I actually think that like I could totally benefit from doing that as well. Giving instructions is sometimes something that's a little bit difficult for newer teachers, and even for me sometimes. Like you have this great activity in your mind and you explain it and they're still just kind of like, huh? But when you have to type something out or maybe just use bullet points, that forces you to be really clear and really concise. So this is kind of like tip 2, article B. Write out all of the instructions for activities that you plan to do so that you're not relying on your own explaining skills, because sometimes they fail you when you're nervous. Tip number 3 is to get to know the principal and the staff and the administrative staff, some of the other teachers if you possibly can. I actually didn't do a great job at this. I knew my master teachers really well and kind of like the people that they ate lunch with. Like I knew this one little crew, and I knew one of the administrative assistants in the office really well, but those were kind of my only 2 people. And so then when I wanted to get like letters of recommendation and things like that, I realized I should have made a better effort to get to know the principal and other members of the staff a little bit better. So do what you can to maybe just like schedule meetings with the principal. I did schedule a meeting with the principal, I remember doing that, but and it was a very large high school and everyone was really busy, so it wasn't possible to like get to know everyone. But as much as you can, try to go to like staff events and student events and just get to know like the climate of the school. For me, I knew that there wouldn't be any hiring happening the next year, so I wasn't as motivated to like go kiss butt anywhere. But you never know what might happen, so sometimes people are hoping to get a job at the school that they student teach at, and if that's your goal, then be really intentional about forming relationships there. But also keep in mind that there just might not be a position open for you in the next year, or they might hire somebody else, so you do need to like keep your eyes open and be looking for other positions elsewhere too. The school that you teach at doesn't owe you a teaching job next year, so just, you know, kind of look out for yourself and make sure that you are aware of where job openings are going to be next year. Okay, my 4th tip wouldn't have really applied to me back in 2010 when there weren't a bunch of teacher YouTube channels and Instagram accounts, and there were some teacher blogs, but now there are so many. So I would say to just follow a select few, you know, Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts, YouTube channels, whatever. Follow a few people that do content or do things that are related to what you are working on. And I would suggest not following like so many people that you get overwhelmed right away. Like maybe kind of curate the people that you follow and just create a small list and get ideas that are directly related to you, because you're gonna have so much coming at you. Like your master teachers are gonna be giving you information, and you're probably also taking classes at this time and you're reading other things on your own. And sometimes when you intake so much, it's just hard to even like wade through all of that and figure out what is relevant to you. So don't overdo your social media, but definitely take advantage of following a few people that you know, you can get fun ideas from, or ideas that will like save you time and save you headaches somewhere along the way. The fifth thing I would suggest is to keep a record of what you did. Like if you can, take a few pictures of some of the lessons that you created. If you did some kind of a station or an activity, snap a picture of that with your phone if you can. Create some organized files on your laptop of your lessons. If you want to take it a step further, maybe start a blog that chronicles your journey as a student teacher, or start a YouTube channel. Those are things that I'd wish I'd done a little bit more. I don't have really any record of anything I did when I was student teaching. I think my husband took a picture of me on my way out the door on like the first day, but that's about it. And now I think it's so much fun to like see my growth and look back at the things that I did. And honestly, some of my lessons were freaking awesome, and I wish that I could remember what I had done. I don't think that I kept very good records in general. Like it was on an old laptop that I don't even know if I can turn on anymore. Like everything is there because I don't think we were putting things in like Drive or in the cloud or anything at that point. So I don't even have access anymore to a lot of the work that I did, and I wish I had done a better job compiling that and saving it for future use. So those are my 5 tips for you. Don't forget to go over to Florence's channel. I can't wait to hear the tips that she has, and feel free in the comments below to leave any other words of encouragement or words of advice. And if you are a student teacher this year, please let us know in the comments below. We want to encourage you, we want to cheer you on, and we hope that it's a really positive experience for you. My last and overarching tip in general would just be to do your very, very best. These students in your classroom deserve your best. I know that you are still practicing, but for them it's not practice. For them, it's still real school. So do your very best every single day, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!